Sorry, I didn't really.
Hey,
We're live.
We're live. Look at that. Welcome to another edition of the Cheat Sheet. We were in the middle of a business. We were talking business here. I did a business. Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Cheat Sheet. I am Marcas Grant, joined by Michael F. Florio and LaQuan Jones. We are almost out of the month of May. This will be our last. This is our last show, right? In the month of May. Yes, it is.
It's gonna be June. There's
yeah,
no.
that doesn't really work. That doesn't really work at all.
June gloom is on the way.
Yeah, we got plenty to talk about. We got a little some questions, some stories. I'm calling it something or nothing. We'll decide whether or not these stories are actually worthwhile or if this is just the sort of chatter that we get this time of the year. And then for the film festival today, we did watch Extraction. We'll talk about that with Chris Hemsworth. I want to start the Florio because you took a sojourn over the weekend. I guess earlier in the week. I don't even know what day it is anymore.
Me neither.
You went to Indianapolis to watch the New York Knicks against the Pacers. We won't rehash the game, but I do want to talk about your experience in Indianapolis. What was it like? I know you had never been to Indy before.
No, and I probably never will be again. I feel like I saw it. Like I unless the Knicks are back there next year or something like that. I don't or combine something like that. I don't ever foresee myself taking another vacation there. The people were really nice until after the game, and then they were chirping, and myself being a New Yorker, I have to chirp back.
Of course,
represent.
Me and my friend were like, look, if they say Pacers in 5, cool, like they earn the right to say that. But when they start saying stuff about New York and stuff like that, that's when I'm like, you live in Indiana, like maybe sit this one out. But yeah, so like I had a lot of fun. The travel was awful. Like it's a blur. The last 3 days I was in the air more than I was in Indiana. But
wow.
Knicks in 7, baby. I have convinced myself that they are winning tonight and they are taking the series.
Well, the downside about that is the Minnesota Timberwolves are out because I was hoping for a Knicks T-Wolves series since those two teams made a big trade at the start of the year with Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo going over to Minnesota, Karl Anthony Towns coming back the other way. Like, it would have been cool to see them finally meet up in the finals after this because you don't see that, right? Two teams making a big deal with each other and then playing for a championship against one another. So that would have been fun, but the Oklahoma City Thunder said no. We don't want to be a part of that.
They're going to be big favorites regardless of who comes out of the East.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is the year that we all got to know how good the OKC Thunder are. And, they look like they could be a problem for a number
And they have like 10 draft picks these next couple of years.
I know. Like, they're going to be a problem for a while. Here's the thing. And shout out to the Clippers for basically gifting the Thunder kind of what they are right now.
Here's my fun fact. Look, it's going to be Knicks Thunder, but if it's Pacers Thunder, both of those teams were built off of trading Paul George.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. So
hey, Sixers fans, maybe you have hope after all.
Maybe one of them can give Paul George a
Are
ring.
they still trusting the process? Like, are we still there?
No, I think they've given up on the process.
Look, I don't know his name, but there's one Philly fan that after every Knick game, Nick lost. When the Knicks win, he doesn't say a word. But when the Knicks lose, he like jumps in my mentions and stuff. And I'm like, you've trusted the process for years, and the Knicks are further than Embiid has ever taken you guys.
I was like, what is that?
This one out. And we ended your season last year, invaded your home, and made you guys a broken team. Like, get out of here with the Philly stuff.
That's funny.
I love Florio's passion.
Oh, that's so funny. I was going to do something or nothing. We'll still do the something or nothing. But there was something that popped up that I wanted to get to first. It's not on the rundown, so I'm going off menu a little bit.
Nice.
You guys saw that it's opened up now in the Olympics that NFL players are going to be eligible to play in flag football. And some of the flag football greats are a little bit bent about that, right? Because flag football and tackle football are two very different sports. The flag football guys are saying they were hoping they would get the chance to compete, men and women, they would get the chance to compete over, having to try to beat out, say, Lamar Jackson in something like that. Your thoughts on that, LaQuan? I mean, I feel like flag and tackle obviously are very different games. Personally, I would like to see the flag football guys out there. I don't know how you feel about it.
I say mix it, like just kind of have it together and have like a big depth chart of flag football professionals and some of the NFL professionals. And like, I would love to see like one of the best, flag football quarterbacks throwing a deep bomb to Tyreek Hill. That'd be like a dream to them. Like, I kind of just want them to be together in this because I think it would be very entertaining if we have like a Tyreek Hill, a Patrick Mahomes out there throwing to these like professional flag football wide receivers. Like I think there's an opportunity there that it could be mixed together.
I mean, Florio, your thoughts on this?
I would like to see it mixed, but more than anything, they need to do a good job of picking the NFL. Like, I don't want to see Patrick Mahomes out there. I don't want to see like Josh Allen. No offense to him. I want to see, if you go with anyone, it should be like Lamar Jackson or Jaden Daniels. And for running backs, it's like Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson, because who cares if you can break tackles? You don't have to break tackles in flag football. You need to be elusive and make people miss. So like, that's what Caleb Johnson would be awful in flag football because he's just looking to run right through you, right? Like you need, and it's funny, I never played like high football or whatever, but like there was a friend in our neighborhood that was like awesome at tackle football, and then when we got older and we started playing flag, like he was awful because he was just like, I can't lower my shoulder and just run through people here. So like, it's a completely different game and a different skill set.
Yeah.
Back.
Derrick Henry, not a good flag option.
No.
Right?
No.
But yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs would be kind of interesting. Tyreek Hill, he could just run past you. That would be sort of interesting. So I'm curious. I would like to see the actual flag football players get an opportunity, in part because it's different, but also because for me, some of the fun of the Olympics is seeing people whose names we don't normally know and watching them become stars and watching them become celebrities. Like, these are people who train really hard at their particular sport, and we don't really hear about them, but once every 4 years. I think that's kind of cool to give those people their moment. And so I would certainly like to see that. But look, man, I get it. Tyson making a good point. I think NFL players can definitely play flag easily, definitely have to look at rules, but less contact is like a dream for NFL players.
They'll
That's
just play.
true.
It'll be a Pro Bowl game. They'll be lazy. Like, no, I'm not going for that.
If there is a scary thought of like I said, I don't want Mahomes or Allen, but like those guys just dropping back and like heaving it downfield to the fastest wide receivers in the NFL, just like 4 times every drive. Eventually, one of them are going to connect, right? Like,
Yeah,
you would think so. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw this. Tom Brady says he's considering unretiring so he could play in the Olympics.
come
he would be awful.
No.
I do think
He can't
would be
move.
awful. He can't move. He could barely move in his prime. You know what I'm saying?
Feel in his body. He can move.
I don't know, because he might make. Because you saw that toss he had with the Super Bowl trophy. That wasn't great.
I'm sure he's got the arm talent still, but he's not going to be making people miss as they're trying to rip that flag from him.
Right. That's the thing. You don't have 5 big dudes blocking.
Is it
in
1,
front
2,
of you.
3 blitz? Is it?
Yeah,
Is it 1, 2, 3 blitz?
That's the thing I gotta learn. There's got to be some kind of rules about rushing the quarterback, but you don't have 5 guys standing there blocking for you, right? You don't have Gronk as an outlet. It's a different world out there when you're playing flag.
I played in a flag league once, and there were offensive, defensive linemen, and it was like, what are we doing? Like,
wait,
you
really?
guys are just standing there for a while, like.
Yeah,
I played linebacker and slot for the flag football team that I play for. Shout out to the Pigs.
I'm just trying to think of like being an offensive lineman on a flag football team feels like
Pointless.
what? Yeah. Like,
Why are you wearing a flag? You're never getting
in our
the
league.
ball.
It was like 4 seconds before you were allowed to rush or something like that. Like,
and that's fair. That's fair. I mean,
Only
like when we
one
used to play,
blitz.
we used to play 2-hand touch. I mean, you have to count I think we counted like 10 alligators or 12 dots or something like that. You count, 1 alligator, 2 alligator, 3 alligator, 4. You count alligators, and then like at 10 alligators, you can rush
So no Mississippi, no 1 Mississippi, no 2 Mississippi.
Sure, you could count Mississippi.
Alligator.
Like we had like different, like it was like 10 alligators. I think it was like 8 Mississippis or 12 dots, like whatever it was. But you had to pick your thing, and you had to count that. And then when you hit that number, you were able to rush. And you had 1 blitz for every 4 downs. Every
alligators.
Yeah, we counted alligators.
This is a West Coast thing, Florio.
I don't know. I have no idea.
My whole
Yeah.
job.
I would expect it to be a Florida thing if you're saying alligators, but Fresno. They do
it's
things
funny.
different.
I never really thought of that. Like, it never really crossed my mind. We started playing, and my buddy's like, count 10 alligators, and I'm like, all right, that's just what it was. So, like, we never really thought about that. And then, like I said, you could use your blitz. You could hold your blitz, maybe if you want the blitz on first down, but then you didn't have one until either they gave the ball up or they got a first down, and you could blitz again at some point.
Wow.
So yeah.
Learn
But
something
you
new
also
every
have to
day.
like, I mean, as soon as they snapped the ball, you had to yell blitz. You couldn't just run. Like, you had to give them the heads
Are
up.
games going to be at SoFi?
No, I believe they're gonna do, because I think swimming is at SoFi. for
Yeah.
the Olympics.
What?
Which I am.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought we talked about this. I hope
think
they
that-
do not destroy the field, man. Don't be messing
gonna-
with Rams house.
They're gonna do swimming at SoFi. So I believe flag football is going to be at BMO Stadium, which is the home of LAFC and Angel City Football Club. So
Nice.
that makes sense. I mean, you don't need as big a field for flag football.
I know.
as you do
I know
for
we're 3
tackle.
years away. I'm not leaving my house when the Olympics are going on.
I'm super excited about the Olympics. I want to go to the opening ceremonies.
I want to go to some stuff, but
The other part of this, I'll say a couple things, and I know we weren't. This has gone deeper than I had intended, but it's all good. Two things about this. One, I know people who were in Los Angeles who lived here in 1984, the last time the Olympics came to LA. And that was the original consensus, was like, it's going to be a disaster. But everybody said it turned out to be a really great, positive experience. They were really glad that they lived here when it happened, so that was good. The other part of it is the idea for this Olympics in 2028 is that it's going to be all public transportation. That they're not
Nice.
they're not going to have like a lot of parking.
they
They
say.
want this to be, so they say. They got 3 years. They got 3 years to figure this out.
Get it
But
done.
that this is going to be the public transportation Olympics.
I will say I loved when the Super Bowl was in LA. There was just a vibe that whole week in the city, and maybe it's because of where we work and we're so in, the Super Bowl and stuff like that. But that week was one of the funnest weeks I've lived in LA. Like, there was an event going on at all different areas of the city. There was a lot. Like, it was a really cool time. So maybe I'm just not looking forward to the traffic for the Olympics, but
Right.
I am excited to go to like a basketball game or
I
something.
mean, I would stay away from LAX. I wouldn't
Yeah.
go anywhere near that place. I don't go near that place unless I have to anyway, but I would definitely stay away from LAX for sure. All right, that's our Olympics take. now. Until something else happens, and we'll have more. It's late May, right? There's not a lot of actual news out there, but stories pop up. You see quotes, you hear interviews, what have you. And it was good for me to kind of go through and look at some of these things, and we can all decide whether or not what you read or hear is something or if it's nothing, and we're just talking in late May. So I got 3 stories here we can dive into. The first one, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel say they are making the most of an unexpected situation. Obviously, we were all surprised to see Dylan Gabriel get drafted ahead of Shedeur Sanders, and even more surprised when the Browns turned around a round or two later and took Shedeur Sanders on top of that. They say they are cool with each other, that the experience has been pretty good, that they're just out there competing to see who can be the starter. Florio, is this something or is this nothing? I think especially when it comes to Dylan Gabriel getting a shot at the starting job.
I think it's something in the sense of look, my read on my opinion on this situation is like Joe Flacco probably starts the year. I wouldn't be surprised if 3-4 quarterbacks start games for the Browns this year. I do think Sanders gets an opportunity at some point, but it's something in the sense of like they are going to get to compete first. Like, the job is open right now, like if one of these guys runs away with it, they have every opportunity to do so. What I think is nothing though is like yesterday we're seeing ESPN Cleveland like tweet out how many passes they each completed on how many attempts and like that. I don't care about. It's May. This is their first taste in the NFL, all of that. The other thing though that I do think matters a bit, and I think it only matters because he fell in the draft, is we're already seeing reporters be like, how is Shedeur Sanders looking? Is he going to be your starter? Stuff like that. The Browns are going to have to answer those questions all year long, all summer, all season, and that is why he fell to the 5th round, because people didn't want to. You deal with this if you think he is a top 2 pick, like was projected, but if you don't think he is your starter, you don't really want to have to answer all these questions.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to have to answer all those questions. But I think if you're the Browns and you're the Browns with the quarterback room that you currently have, it didn't matter when you took him. You were going to have to answer those questions, right? It's not like he went to a team that had an established starter and, you're looking at it where like, okay, he's going to be a backup for a year, until they like, okay, look, if he'd gone to, I'd even say like Seattle, right? Like I get it. Sam Darnold is not the long-term answer necessarily for the Seahawks, but he played well enough last year that you feel like, okay, Sam Darnold's probably going to be the starter unless Shedeur is absolutely amazing. So you don't get as many of those questions. When your quarterback room is Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett and a rehabbing Deshaun Watson who's been terrible the last couple of years, like you could have taken Shedeur as an undrafted free agent. You were going to hear those questions. Like you just were.
Yeah.
Apparently, Seahawk fans are pushing for Milroe to start. Like that,
which is crazy.
Yeah,
that's
he
too
just
early.
Signed Sam Darnold.
Yeah, like you don't even know what you got yet. Like that's insane because I saw those tweets as well. Like I'm just like Seattle, you guys are kind of crazy right now, not wanting to see what Sam Darnold goes out there and do. Like you got Cooper Kupp, JSN, you got the bag there with some people. So that's a little crazy that they're gonna answer that.
Did you see a tweet from Seattle yesterday?
No.
I did, and we're not going to speak on that.
Oh, that tweet.
You see how he's trying to turn the knife? Like I said his name.
It was, you know what? There was a tweet.
upset.
There was a tweet with Cooper Kupp sporting the blue and green.
He looks fat.
He does not look fat. Like I can see how your previous breakups went. You're like just trash talking people all the time. Like he looked, it looked like a nice fit. We'll see what he plays like, but at least he looked good in the uniform.
No, he didn't. He looked horrendous. I don't even know why he put.
Why
that
are you
on.
upset? You guys released him. You let him go. Like it wasn't like
I'd rather him retire. Run off to the sunset. Just retire as a Ram and just end your career. Like you go to the ops, you go within the division. That's even more disgusting that we got to beat on you twice a year, every year.
You let him go. That's the risk you run, man.
Nah, man. It's okay. He's going to be on a losing squad. They're going to finish like third, above the 49ers. So we call it a day.
Third above the 40. Like I love how you just find a way to get a shot at everybody in there.
Wait, so you have the Cardinals?
You have the Cardinals
second? Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
that's just out of hate. That's just out of spite. That's not any real analysis. That's just spite is all that is.
The non-threats of the division.
Are they the team that you guys dislike the least in the division because they haven't really?
Yeah,
they're
like the little brother that like annoys you. Like, all right, get out of here. Go.
Yeah, I legitimately don't really think about the Cardinals.
Like when they're playing the game, like when they're with the Rams playing the game, they had the controller unplugged. Game, like we're good to go.
I mean, it really is. It's kind of the Don Draper. Like, I don't think about you at all. Like, it really is.
Who are you?
Like
the Thanos. Like, I don't even know who you are.
Like every once in a while they rise up and they win. They win a few games here and there. Like it happens. Like but I mean, the Cardinals have not been a serious threat to anybody in the division. Yeah, there it is. There it is. We should just put like a Cardinal logo up top and then just put like the other three logos of the NFC West like down below, right? Just put
I feel like you guys
Rams, Seahawks,
today.
Put Rams, Seahawks, 49ers down below. Like,
I love this.
That really is how it is. Shout out to Gavin for being quick on the draw.
Yeah,
that one as well. I mean, LaQuan, though, your thought. I mean, on Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel, like, is this really going to be a competition? Is Shedeur Sanders in competition with Dylan Gabriel, or is he in competition with like Flacco and Pickett?
I think Shadeur's in competition with Flacco and Pickett, to be honest, because Kenny Pickett just reported taking, snaps with the ones. So it's looking like, Kenny is going to be the guy they're going to test out first to see what goes on. I mean, look, Joe Flacco, I'm surprised that, the
Super
Browns.
Bowl champion Joe Flacco, as Mr. Scampers points
New
out.
Jersey's finest. Jersey boys, let's go.
At least one of those guys played in the Super Bowl.
I was going to say, one of them actually had something to do with their team winning a Super Bowl.
One of them are elite. We could stamp him elite now. But I honestly think, he's more so like Shadeur's competing with the two guys that one they traded for and signed for. Dylan Gabriel, he's going to be an investment for the future. I think he's going to be there. I honestly think they ride, with three quarterbacks this season and trade one. And look, we already know the Steelers. They're on the freaking cusp of basically just walking away from Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't be surprised they make a move for Joe Flacco. Like, I would honestly want that move to happen rather than go into the season with Mason Rudolph. So one of these quarterbacks are going to be on the move. So I think it might end up being Pickett, Shador, and Dylan Gabriel and Watson, unfortunately.
If I am an NFL team, I am not giving up legal American tender for Joe Flacco. I'm not giving up actual assets
And
for
if
Joe
I'm
Tender. For
the
Joe
Browns,
Flacco.
I'm like, we need a veteran here, right, to teach these young guys.
Your veteran's Kenny Pickett, who's taking reps with the ones right now. I mean, honestly, it doesn't sound like or look like. Yeah. I mean, he is a veteran by criteria now. No, I mean, he's been in the league a while.
Yeah,
Jumped
I
some
mean,
teams.
he doesn't have the experience of a Flacco, though.
No.
Like what?
Like,
Pretty
Flacco
much.
could teach these guys a little something, maybe.
They're
I
all
think he's still
25
trying
years
to
old,
stick
apparently, in the
around.
locker room, all vibing out. I mean, like, Joe Flacco, man, he's there for the vibes, man. I mean, he's good being on the move.
It's a better fit for him than backing up Anthony Richardson, I'll tell you that.
Bro, him with the Steelers would be magical, honestly. Like, I just want to see it. Like, it just needs to happen. I mean, he's just going to bounce around the entire division. Let's do it.
I mean, seriously, like I'm still stuck on you calling Kenny Pickett. I mean, he is a veteran, but like, so is Nathan Peterman. Like, what are we doing? Like, like
Veterans of all veterans for bad reasons.
yeah. So anyway, there will still be questions answered. We're gonna go through this. We're gonna get videos and stats. By the way, you talk about the passing numbers for practice for the Browns. I saw that for the Giants too. I think I saw some like Jameis Winston passing number, and like that was my thought too. Like I didn't even bother to like actually intake what it was. I saw it, and I looked at it, and I'm like, no.
Apparently, Winston threw a dime to Cam Scatterboo in the end zone, so that's pretty
cool, man. That's
about.
cool.
I'm sad because I don't think there's a realistic shot that we see Jameis Winston this year.
No, unfortunately.
You don't think so?
Because if they move on from Russ, I feel like their season's in free fall and they're gonna go to.
So they just play
Dart.
Jackson Dart.
Yeah, I was about to say Dart in November.
I don't know, just because have you seen the Giants' schedule? It is brutal. To the point that like, where do you throw Jackson Dart in there, right? Because you start with the Commanders, you got the Cowboys, Chiefs, Chargers. You got the Saints, but that's so early in the season. That's still early October. You're probably not going to play them there. Then you have the Eagles, Broncos, Eagles right in the middle of the season. Right after that, you got the 49ers. Maybe
right there.
Stop. You got the Bears. Maybe the Bears the week after, possibly.
Yeah, but then you get Packers Lions.
Packers Lions. I mean, so what? Maybe we see Jackson Dart against the Patriots December 1st.
Preseason, we'll see Jackson Dart.
The schedule makers were like, "Yo, let's just run these Giants NFC North games just one after the other."
We're gonna get them about the paint early, so we don't have to worry about it. We'll just get them out the paint early, and it'll be done. So I think it's gonna be hard for them to find a place to put Dart in without him getting just clobbered somewhere.
Yeah. I kind of wish they did Hard Knocks again this year.
So,
oh wait, they are, aren't they?
They're doing in-season Hard
Knocks.
In-season.
That's what we wanted, baby. Let's go.
It's the NFC East doing in-season. Which, by the way, like, how salty were the Giants that they're like, we got to do this again? Like we did preseason, we did off-season Hard Knocks, and we got hammered for it. Now they're making us do this again in season when likely our season is going to be up in flames. Like
they're going to get the least airtime of all those teams.
Probably.
No way. They got Winston. The personalities in that room. Yes.
But
they'll give them a lot of time early on, and then towards the end, it'll just be like all Eagles.
But look, I mean, because like they also have the defending Super Bowl champions. They've got the Commanders who were in the NFC Championship game and have one of the good young quarterbacks in the league, and then you got the Cowboys who are the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
it is a good division because the two bad teams have the biggest fan bases. So like,
yeah.
It's a good pick for the NFL's sake.
For the NFL's sake.
Not for the Giants fans' sake.
No.
I can't wait.
Next one on Something or Nothing. Travis Hunter reportedly will not practice on both sides of the ball during the same OTA session, which is to say, in one session he will play offense, in one session he will play defense. In fact, if you caught the Move the Sticks podcast, Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks talked a little bit about this, and Bucky had some thoughts on what he expects to see from Travis Hunter.
What is the early thoughts there on what you've seen from Travis Hunter?
The early plan right now is he's an offensive player who also has defensive obligations, meaning he's going to start on offense, and then he's going to be a situational player on defense. So from a practice schedule standpoint, 3 days of offense, 1 day of defense.
Give me that skill position group. What's that look like?
DJ, I think it's going to be very, very reminiscent to what the Rams did early in Sean McVay's tenure. I want you to go back to when it was Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks, Cooper Kupp, and how they were fast and dynamic and really trying to stretch the field, but then being able to dump it off. I think it's going to be that version. Dyami Brown, Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, you're here, Bretton Strange's name come in there as the tight end one. Parker Washington will play a big role. Travis Etienne, there's some conversation about where he fits in. And Bajal Tootin, the rookie from Virginia Tech, keep an eye on him.
All right, so Bucky going through. By the way, it was funny because Florio pointed this out before the show. Bucky dropped Dyami Brown's name before Brian Thomas Jr.'s name. Probably not the way most fantasy folks have it drawn up, but that's kind of what it is. But I mean, I want to ask about this thing about him only playing one side of the ball during OTAs. You know, we've sort of heard Liam Cohen talk about what their expectations, what their plans are for him. But this OTA usage, LaQuan, is this something or nothing?
This is nothing. I think this is what we expected, for them to do, to play him on both sides of the ball. They don't want to tire him out, just having him on one side of the ball. And he needs to process all this stuff as well. So I think they're playing it right. And I think that will be more so translated into the season with him kind of being put in on defense on certain packages, put in defense in certain crucial moments, maybe in the red zone, like we'll see him play, some defense. Like I don't expect him to play over like 40% of the snaps on defense, when it comes to the season. That's a lot still. So I think more so they're going to be looking at him as a offensive weapon, and we're going to see that, and that's going to translate for fantasy.
I think this is a huge something.
Oh, you think it's something? All right, yeah, please.
Yeah. Because I know they've been saying since they take him that they view him as a offensive player first, but to me, there's a big difference between saying it and putting it into practice. And if he's going to, for games, play 3 days of practice as an offensive player and only 1 per week as a defensive player, then yeah, he's a full-time offensive player who is going to be sprinkled in on defense, which is what we wanted for fantasy. Like, yeah. I know we all love Travis Hunter, but the biggest fear was like, is he going to go somewhere that views him as a defense? And there were a lot of teams that were like, good wide receiver, even better cornerback, and we view him as that first. So very happy that he went to a team that is not only saying they want to use him as an option, a wide receiver first, but like they've built a plan where that is what he is going to be. So for me, I love Travis Hunter. I'm getting excited about drafting him because I still think wide receiver 3 price is because of they're like, oh, is he going to be, how much is he going to be used on offense? It feels like it's going to be a whole bunch. So I'll take him at a discount.
The other part of this, and I was going to ask you this, Florio, and you sort of led me here, which is great. Bucky named a lot of names, right? I mean, okay, I don't think any of us are buying that Dyami Brown is going to be like, the wide receiver 1.
What? I'm wide receiver 3. And running back 3, so yes.
Wait, but I thought you also love Parker Washington.
I do, here? But Travis Hunter has entered the picture. He's most likely going to be playing that slot. Brian Thomas Jr., obviously the alpha. So the wide receiver 3 has to be the field stretcher in Dyami Brown. I honestly think Liam Cohen, seeing Dyami Brown show those flashes last year with the Commanders, and was like, oh, I can utilize this at the ultimate price. So yes, I think Dyami Brown becomes some type of relevant.
The funny part to me is of those starting 3 wide receivers, I think Brown is the worst field stretcher. I think Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. It's not a knock on Brown. It's just I think those 2 guys are facts. So good.
But kind of what Bucky was saying. Like now, let's go back to the Cooper Kupp, Brandon Cooks, and Robert Woods. Who will be the worst out of that as the field stretcher? I would say Kupp, but Kupp will be the most dynamic in his role in that scenario. But I'm not saying that's going to be Dyami Brown. But one of these wide receivers out of this trio will have that stamp on them.
I mean, but then the question for me becomes, as you look around, if Brian Thomas Jr. are we agreed that Brian Thomas Jr. is still the wide receiver one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So is there going to be enough, knowing that you're going to get some to De'Ami Brown? I don't know how much Brenton Strange is going to get targets, but you're still gonna be working in Travis Etienne or Bashaw Tootin or whomever, Tank Bigsby, like all those guys got to get. Are we sure, Florio, there's enough targets and enough touches to actually make this thing work out?
I have hope because Liam Cohen last year in Tampa Bay was always like Godwin and Evans were really nice until Godwin got hurt, and then we saw McMillan step up and become fantasy viable. So I do have hope that, and especially because I think if Travis Hunter was asked to be a 1 in the X, you're putting a lot on his plate, but now he's going to get to be just a weapon, I think. Like, I do think he's primarily going to play out of the slot, which are very high efficient targets, and he's going to cook nickels. I'm sorry. I don't think there's many nickels in this league that can contain Travis Hunter, but I do think at times with his versatility, we could see him play opposite of Brian Thomas Jr. We could see him play the X in certain plays. Like, I think Liam Cohen could get really creative with these pieces because they're all so versatile. At least their top two especially are very versatile that it all comes down now to Trevor Lawrence, right? Like, I do think the volume will be there to sustain both if they could keep these drives going and stuff. If we're getting a lot of 3 and outs and that kind, then it's going to be tough. So it comes down to, like it always does, Trevor Lawrence.
He's in the bag.
I just say he's in the satchel of discontent. I mean, does Travis Hunter being there change anything for you, LaQuan?
It should, because I honestly think, Trevor Mid-Lawrence has a clean slate right now with Liam Cohen, and he should be able to go on there and execute. I honestly think it will come down to him being healthy and him being able to just have this playbook wide open, be able to use all the weapons that are around him. Because we look back when he had Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, and then Brian Thomas Jr. last year, but these guys got all banged up. If everybody stays healthy, I don't see how Trevor Lawrence fails in this situation.
I mean, we said that before, right? I mean, right?
Urban Meyer.
Calvin Ridley was supposed to be that dude to help him out.
That was weird. That's a blur. I don't even remember him in Jacksonville. Like, it goes Falcons, Tennessee to me, because that just was like, what are we doing?
That's really not great. I mean, it was 1 year. I get it, but to go from the Falcons to Tennessee, because it wasn't like he was lighting it up with the Titans or anything either. So
200 targets coming this year.
With who, for Ridley?
Yeah, look at the rest of that wide receiver room.
Oh yeah, no, probably.
Yeah.
When a guy like Nick Westbrook-Akine walks out the door, that just changes everything. You got.
Shout out Alec Manor. Hopefully he steps up.
You know what? I have drafted him late in a number of places. Just sort of hey man, who knows what happens, right? Like, if they're bad, maybe he starts getting more love at the end of the year. How much does Tyler Lockett have left in the tank? We sort of know what Van Jefferson is at this point. So
Tennessee is the retirement home for a wide receiver, so Tyler Lockett knows what he's doing.
It is not.
Got some real estate out there, probably.
And plus, why wouldn't you try to build around Cam Ward and Io Minor, right? Just see what you got.
Yeah.
Young
Gunnar Helm there behind Chiggs. I don't know. They got something.
Maybe.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Tennessee's never sexy or exciting. It just is what it is. It's a team.
It is what it is. The Titans are they're just there. They are just there, which, shout out to our boy Justin Graver, former NFL Fantasy Podcast producer, who's maybe the biggest Titans fan I know. Man, the grave digger. Sorry about that, dog. Jamar Chase says that in order to avoid another slow start, the Bengals starters might need to play in the preseason. This is a thing we've talked about on this show and on the podcast a few times, that the Bengals have put themselves in must-win situations starting in week 5 the last few years, because it's been bad. Last year they started 1-4. 2023 they were 1-3. 2022 they were 0-2 and then had to battle back. I mean, they just have been behind the 8 ball really to begin. So Jamar Chase saying maybe we play some of our guys in the preseason. I mean, Florio, is this something or is this nothing?
I think this is something, and I know preseason doesn't matter. That's what we say, but I know, Marcus, this is something that you've talked a lot about on this show. I don't want to steal your thing, but like if you're not playing in games at all, week 1 then is like your preseason game. So you're coming out and I know, and especially like, look, Burrow and Chase, they went to college together. Burrow and Higgins have been together for years and stuff. You would think if there's a team that doesn't start off slow, it would be one like this with continuity. But 0-2 or worse each of the last 3 years. They lost last year in week 1 to the Patriots. The Jacoby Brissett-led Patriots.
Kobe.
Like, I don't. Is it a Joe Burrow thing? I don't know what it is, but yes, this offense comes out stuck in the mud. This team, they lose. I don't even want to hold the other 2 games against them last year because Chiefs and Commanders, tough opponents. But like, you should not be losing to the and that Patriot loss kept them out of the playoffs. So like, yeah, I think Jamar Chase is onto something here. Like, it hasn't worked 3 years in a row. Maybe try something new.
They got to do something.
Like LaQuan, we always freak out, right? When we see stars playing in the preseason, like we all get. I mean, like, remember a couple years ago, Josh Jacobs played like into the 4th quarter of the Hall of Fame game. We were like, fade Josh Jacobs. Like, everybody was just like just running away from him with their hair on fire, and they ended up having a really good year. So like, I don't know. Are we going to, if Jamar Chase is playing in preseason games, are we going to be rational about this?
I think if it's just the Bengals, we're good because it's more so of like they have this known slow start. Like they need to get out there and get things going. Like practice ain't enough. Like your defensive like teammates aren't going to be out there smacking you around. You need to go against whoever is the Raiders' 13 string of corners, like smacking you around. Like you need to get those hits and bumps out early. So when week 1 comes, you're already ready to go. Like you're already playing at 75% because nobody's ever 100% playing football. But whatever the case may be, you get to that point where it's like, all right, I don't need to shake any rust off. Let's light it up. I'm the 101 in all fantasy drafts right now, and Jamar Chase. Like, let's run it up early. Let's get these targets and catches and touchdowns just in rhythm before week 6. You know.
Remember when Jamar Chase like couldn't catch? Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't see, he couldn't catch. We were like, oh no, this guy's gonna be a bust. And now
Here we are. Well, Justin Jefferson had a slow start too when he came out. I mean,
well, Justin Jefferson was just a big slot receiver. Like that's all he can do.
Like people like were dropping him after week 1, and then look how that played out.
For sure. By the way, LaQuan, should Kyron Williams play in the preseason?
Oh, here we go. Yes, he should play so he can get the grip on the ball and understand how to hold the ball. And know what? I'm going to see him tonight, and I hope there's an opportunity that I get to speak to him in kindful words.
Like,
I'm going to
an hour.
Yeah, wait,
I'm going to the Rams revealed.
Kyron Williams?
No, I'm going to the Rams revealed tonight over there at the YouTube theater. So get to hang out with some of the season ticket holders over there. And there's going to be like a huge opportunity to see me and see some folks out there. You know, DeMarco Farr will be over there with JB Long doing the Rams revealed show. Cool. It's like a little insight and stuff. Hey, we got to keep it in house. This is for
all
Rams
right, I'm
fans
just
only,
curious.
man.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be all over the internet. Like you act like this thing is not going to be on social media.
Tomorrow. We'll find out tomorrow.
Like, I'm pretty sure the Rams social team is going to be posting all of this stuff.
It's on the
say hi to Erica for us.
They're like, yeah, say hi to our pal Erica Tamposi if she's over there. Like,
yeah, this
isn't going to be Sean McVay like revealing his scheme for the year. Like he's not rolling out the playbook or nothing like that.
No, I might ask if I get the opportunity. If I'm front row, I'm screaming some questions. I want to know.
I mean, you can ask all the questions you want. They're not going to give
Dark Quest Hunter season. Let's go.
Are you going to get there hours in advance so you could be front row?
I will leave Insiders and I will be right there front center to the theater.
Oh, so you're going to be in the building anyways. You just walk across the street. To the
Let's go.
There it is. All right, cool. All right, that was something or nothing. Some of them was something. Some of them were nothing. But we'll probably have some more of those. Look, we still got a couple months before anything real happens, so we'll probably do this again at some point. All right, you got about 15 minutes left or so. Let's get into the film festival because last week or 2 weeks ago, we thought we were going to be super ambitious, and we thought maybe we'd do 2 movies, Extraction 1 and 2. We were not quite so successful at getting through both those movies. But we all watched Extraction 1, right? And so we will do Extraction 2 for next week. The basic premise of Extraction is a kid is kidnapped. The son of a drug lord is kidnapped by another drug lord, and mercenary Chris Hemsworth is being called upon to rescue the child and get him back to his first drug lord father. Right? Did I get that right? I mean, that's pretty much what it is,
pretty much.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's got a
Bruce
team.
brothers are
Things
all
don't really
one.
work out for his team.
No, he's with the team. The team doesn't last very long. And then he's pretty much on his own. They pretty much just told you from the beginning that he is a superhero.
Yeah.
Right? He jumps off this cliff and then just sits at the bottom of a lake. Like,
Which I thought was hilarious. Like, I actually laughed at that point. Like it's not like he jumps like 30 feet into the water, and they're like, "Where is he?" And he's just meditating at the bottom of the lake.
just lotus position, like underneath the lake, just unbothered, right? So at that point, you're just kind of like, okay, you really are like Thor, basically, is what we're doing.
We're kicking it off with you acting as Thor.
Right.
You're in character.
Yeah. So like it starts with that. But as you start to break this down, Tyler Rake is the name of our
Which is ironic because he uses a rake as a weapon numerous times.
Yo, that was a crazy scene right there. Oh my god, that was on par with Havoc.
Well, at first they called him Rake. They didn't use his full name. They just called him Rake. And I'm like, is this his name or is this a code name? Like I wasn't
Weapon
sure.
of choice.
Or yeah, just how he murders people.
When he saw it, he got so bricked up. He's like, yes, it's a Rake.
Like, and he's just going to town on folks with Rake, with a gun, with so many different things. But as you start to dive into this, man, like Tyler Rake is not okay, y'all. Like he's really not okay.
He got issues.
He lives in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by chickens. Is like when we first, we actually kind of get to know him a little bit. He's basically just drinking himself to death. Is what it seems like.
He's kind of like Thor after Thanos wins.
There you go.
Yeah, he was like Fat Thor without being fat, right? He just had all the hallmarks of depression and sadness and loneliness. Even like his handler who works with him is just like, so are you like secretly hoping like you just take a bullet and this ends the whole thing? And like he didn't really argue that. Here he is, here at the bottom of the lake, just chilling, right? Like unbothered, trying to figure out life at the bottom of the lake, as one does. But then like halfway through the movie, when he gets a quiet moment with the kid he's rescuing, like he opens up about the fact that like he was a deadbeat dad. Like his, he like walked out on his wife and kid who has died. And like he breaks down crying. And I'm like, dude, if I am being hunted by drug lords, like I don't need the dude rescuing me to just have a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
I don't.
I actually enjoyed that part because it made sense because they're like, yo, just leave the kid. Like we could get you out fine. It's the kid that everyone wants, and like it's his moral code. Like I let my own son down, I'm not going to let him down now. Like
that's fair.
Hopper from Stranger Things.
Yeah, he shows.
I did not like him.
He he had a little bit of a heel turn. Old Jim Hopper from Stranger Things.
The Red Guardian.
Sure, whatever. David Harbour. Like he shows up there, like kind of like, oh, hey, look at this guy. And then it turns out that he's maybe not super friendly to our hero.
It kind of looked at shady just to begin with. When you first see him and introduce, it's like, yeah, there's something up with this guy. and little behold,
one thing I've realized is that mercenaries, even though they make large sums of money for the jobs that they do, all tend to live in really terrible places. Like they don't live in nice. And I mean, I guess if you are
off the map,
off the grid,
you got to be off the grid a little bit, right? Like you can't just. Right, you can't take all your money and move into Beverly Hills because then you're gonna have neighbors being like, "So what do you do?" Like, and that sort of thing. You can't just be like, "I go to the jungles of Southeast Asia and murder lots of people." Like, you can't just. That's not really a thing you say. It's not really a thing you say at parties, right? Like,
and it can't be like, "Oh, hey, that's where the town mercenary lived." Like,
right?
Yeah.
Although that was basically the premise of the movie, The Whole Nine Yards. I don't know if you've ever
I've
seen
never
that.
seen
movie.
that could be on 2 weeks from now.
Bruce Willis.
And Matthew Chandler.
Matthew Perry. I was
Perry,
gonna
yes.
I was gonna say Matthew McConaughey, and I knew that wasn't right. Basically the premise is that Bruce Willis is a hitman who moves into the suburbs.
I gotta watch that now. I've heard of it, I've seen it. I just never like really watched it.
Yeah, he's a hitman. He moves next door to Matthew Perry, who is I believe a dentist. And there are
He's a
shenanigans.
processor.
there are shenanigans. Basically, is
one
what
thing I
happens.
loved in this movie was he just like Tyler gets bored at one point of being like such a marksman that he starts using his gun like a sword. And
Yes,
he's just like hitting people with it, and I was just
Yes.
and like they have knives, and he's using his gun to, and I'm like, dude, just shoot them, like
Yeah.
make your life easy.
Using it as a shield, a hammer, you're using it all. Like, I mean, honestly, I'm curious of what you think, Florio, of fight scenes, Havoc or Extraction.
I liked Extraction better personally because for me there was a purpose to why he was doing what he was doing. Like, he wanted to save the kid, and that goes a long way with me. Like, I'm a sucker for bad action movies as long as there's a reason for why this is happening. Like, then I can make it make sense in my head.
They're both deadbeat fathers, man. It kind of aligns. Like, they were both bad fathers, and they could fight.
I think it's I don't know, I just enjoyed the characters in this movie, and the action was, while it was over the top, it was still somewhat realistic.
Yes, this scene was crazy. I wanted that guy to live. I was so pissed, man. Spoiler alert that he died. I wanted
I
to
was
live
shocked. I was like,
again.
aren't they against each other and now they're working together?
but they were still. Basically, they were working toward the same goal, which was to get the kid
they
back
didn't
to
know.
his father.
Yeah.
But I don't think they were both aware of that until they realized that, oh yeah, hey, we're both trying to achieve the same thing.
Yeah.
And then it sort of came together. A quick Google search tells me that Tyler Rake killed 80 people
in the movie.
Extraction. In Extraction.
I thought it
Yes.
was more, to be honest.
I'm about to say it looks like more. I'm about to say in triple digits for sure.
Yeah, apparently he killed 80 people. And I don't know how I don't know how. You really got to work hard, I think, to count. You got to watch. And
Well, Raid, I counted how many times they reloaded in that movie, and it was like 4 or 5 times they reloaded. Like, and it was just endless. Yeah, that was it. All the bullets that were freaking shot, only 4 times a guy reloaded. It was like, okay. Same thing with Havoc, though. I think more so the loophole is that they just grab another weapon because it's
Havoc kind of got cartoonish.
Yeah, that was the difference between me for Havoc and this. Is like, this felt at least somewhat more. It's kind of like Fast and the Furious, where I know this is all ridiculous, but like on its head, like the Rock bottoming someone through a table. Like, all right, that makes sense. Like,
real.
but the Rock flexing and breaking out of a cast,
that
is
is
a little bit different.
This scene, the fight scenes, I give Extraction, by the way. My vote is Extraction over Havoc because just the way this was like watched, like the third person shooter like type of view of the fighting was just amazing. And like the Russo brothers, obviously one of the best out there. And like when they were even in the car in the chase with the police, and like it looks like the cameraman is literally just right there in the center of the seat, in the back seat, just shooting it. Like, I appreciate those things in film.
Agreed. But that part did make me laugh because I'm like, not only is he like the best super soldier alive, he's also Don Toretto behind the wheel. Like, so, that part made me laugh. Like, he's like driving backwards through a crowded town and everything. I'm like, all right.
So I also have to like keep in mind, because like I watched Extraction, and then I think the day after I watched a movie called Kandahar with Gerard Butler, and there are a lot of similarities, a lot of overlap. And so like I was watching Kandahar with my wife, and she fell asleep. So the next day she's asking me what happened, and I found myself mixing up the two movies in my head because it was both like guys, just like, badass lone wolves trying to get out of super dangerous situations and like, taking down bad guys. And I had to sort of make sure I had the right, because I started talking about like, oh yeah, so like then he gets this person, like she's like, who is this person you're talking about? I'm like, oh wait, no, that's the other movie. So I had to make sure I got that one right.
Oh my god,
the knife fight scene was really cool, and I don't want to go into details, but the dude who gets the neck, that was like, I actually on the plane was like, oh my god, like
yeah, that was pretty brutal. Then they tried to give you like a little kind of a vague ending at the end of like is Tyler Rake still alive? Because he takes one in the neck on the bridge at the end of the movie, and he slumps down, and it looks like maybe he's bleeding out. But then at the very end, the very last scene, you get kind of a glimpse of somebody that could be Tyler Rake. Is it him? Spoiler alert, there's an Extraction too. So yeah.
I know Gavin had warned us, like, oh, and I watched like the first 10 or 15 minutes of 2. I won't give it away, but they do kind of explain it wasn't just like easy for him. But
Okay.
while watching the movie, I was like, wait, is like Extraction 2 could be like a different person, like it does so I still was like, because he takes it in the neck. I'm like, and then falls off a bridge. I'm like, I don't know
into a river. Yeah.
Like, it seems like that might be it for our boy.
Contaminated river.
Yeah. Except there's like Extraction 2, and I believe Chris Hemsworth is on the cover. I think he's on the poster of Extraction 2. Yeah, there he is. So,
all right.
So basically, Netflix spoiled its own ending to a movie by putting the guy.
I can't wait to watch it though.
It's gonna be fun to watch.
I enjoyed it, and I've only watched like the first 15 minutes. I was like, at least they make it a little bit where it's not just like, oh yeah, he's fine, and they just move on.
Oh no, there's a rehab process for. I've watched it. There's a rehab process for Tyler Ray as he gets ready. No underwater. He doesn't.
Rehab.
He does not sit at the bottom of a lake and contemplate life in Extraction 2. But
wow, so the movie started with that in the water, and then it ends with him in the water.
Yeah, it's like
Look
full
at that.
Different kinds of being in the water.
Just all kinds of being in the water. All kinds of being in the water for him for sure.
But I like this movie a lot. Like I would 100%
did.
watch it again.
Where's it at on the ranking so far?
Well, it's ahead of Havoc.
Yeah, we've only watched
we've
2.
only watched 2
yeah,
movies.
it's one for me. I think it's one for all
We
3 of
watched
us.
3. Oh no, yeah, we only watched 2.
Yeah. Michael Fassbender and The Killer lived well, but that movie, yeah. And you know what? I tried to watch The Killer, and it was really slow, and I just never made it through.
The movie's called The Killer, and it's slow.
It's called The Killer
Who is
because
Michael
like
Fassbender?
the first 10 or 15 minutes, and I would imagine it's what being a hitman really is like, where you just sit and you wait, and you have to be patient. And wait, and like it's just him. It's doing little things. It's loading the gun. It's stretching. It's looking out the window. I mean, it's just like I'm like, okay, man,
Eating.
like just shoot
Stretching
somebody.
is
Already.
Using the bathroom.
Right. I'm like, just shoot somebody already. Like, what are we doing? So I never made it through The Killer for sure. All right. So next week we'll do Extraction 2. Then we will further adventures of Tyler Ray. We should figure out when Extraction 3 is going to be released. June 9th. No, I'm sorry.
No way.
No. That's sorry. I'm sorry. That's wrong. I don't
Is that
see.
confused with the other movie again?
Yeah, I don't exactly. I don't see a release date for Extraction 3. Just sometime in 2025.
It's gonna be a
If it releases, I will watch it live. If it's as long as it's not during football season and tweet it out and
exactly
whatever it debuts.
So,
Chris Hemsworth.
and if it's during the summer, we'll put it here on the cheat sheet for sure. So, all right, I think that's enough. That's enough nonsense for this one. Thank you everybody who hung out, all your participation. We certainly appreciate it. We'll be back with you next Tuesday for our normal podcast, as one does. So we'll figure out some topics to talk about. Maybe we'll do should we do a mock draft? We haven't done a mock draft in a few years.
I love mock drafts. I'm always down the mock. I'm in the mock right now.
Or we can do a best ball mock or something like that. I don't know.
Ooh.
We'll figure it out. Anyway, we'll figure that out all for next week. But appreciate y'all for hanging out. Thanks to Gavin for getting this up and the graphic help as well too. That was super.
Love it.
Super cool. So that'll do it for this edition of the Fantasy Cheat Sheet. For Michael F. Florio, for LaQuan Jones, I'm Marcas Grant. Stay happy, safe, and healthy. Do good and live well. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you again next week.